We are bringing this to you today from the Blue Earth Summit 2025 here in Woolwich. It is an action-packed day. We have so many visitors and guests. We started the day with a roundtable on the stellar energy system, following on from our first podcast. And then we've got different panels and events throughout the day.
It's all go, it's action, action, action. There's hundreds of people here. There's stalls, there's talks, there's roundtables. I've lost Fiona 5 times already, but I found her again. We're going around doing our bits and pieces. I'll be talking to lots of individual people on their stalls, so wait for that, and you'll find lots of exciting companies working in the climate space. Hi, we're actually today at the Blue Earth Summit, which is a fantastic space here in Woolwich. And they very kindly asked Earthset to run the first deep dive of the morning, which we had on energy abundance, the stellar revolution, how are we going to get these stellar nurseries set up? And we had a fantastic panel of speakers in a roundtable setting, everybody thinking about what's exciting, what they want to do next, what they would do with all this amazing energy. And we had some amazing speakers. So I've got Dan here. Dan, please tell us a bit about your background, why you're here, how you know Fiona, etc., and why you came today.
Sure. Thanks, Amy. So my name's Dan Travers. I'm co-founder, in fact, of a company called Open Climate Fix. We are delivering AI solutions to help the grid incorporate more renewable energy, and particularly decentralized renewable energy. So one of the themes, in fact, of the discussion was around the decentralization of the grid, and can we manage a grid, and why isn't there more decentralized energy out there? In terms of things that excited me, I am very excited by new battery technologies, which I think things that have barely been invented by the time I'm dead, I think will be everywhere. And that's really exciting. And the other one is how can we use AI, which is very much what Open Climate Fix focuses on, to integrate millions and millions of generators dispersed around the grid edge rather than have just a few dozen generators feeding energy from the center out to the fringes.
And it was a great morning. We were the first off, so, but we had a good energy coming on at 9 o'clock in the morning. And what was the thing that you took away that you were thinking, okay, that's something I want to go do next? Or
the thing that I want to think about next was the question that someone posed, which is, if we have super abundant energy, which is essentially free, what does that mean for being a human, and does that change our relationship from being more extractive focused to and can we turn that into sort of more circular economy focused? So that was got me thinking.
Brilliant, fantastic. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
So here today at the Blue Earth Summit, I have the pleasure of being on a panel later with Sian. And having just met Sian, I am so inspired by all of the plastic-free products that are being displayed here, but also just the history and what you've done. So tell us, what are you doing in plastics?
What am I doing in plastics, or trying not to be in plastics? As a massive plastic sinner, let me tell you, Fiona, my background, I come from the world of business. I'm an entrepreneur. 10 years ago, I found out about the plastic crisis. I couldn't leave it alone. I co-founded an organization called the Plastic Planet. We work with governments and industry to unite as far as the world to turn off the plastic tap. Nothing to do with recycling, nothing to do with beach cleans. We're all about, let's have less of this toxic, indestructible material in the first place.
So just less plastic up front.
Less plastic.
We use plastic in so many things, Sian. Is this realistic?
Completely realistic. Hence, here we are today, Fiona, in Plastic Free Land. Because what's important is we've got this fake narrative that there's only plastic to give us the lives that we love, the products that we love, the convenience that we love.
Yeah.
And we built Plastic Free Land, which is really a physical manifestation of our plastic-free global solutions platform, so that you can see and feel and touch the materials of the future that are actually available today, to realize that actually going plastic-free, living plastic-free, weaning ourselves from this incredible material is actually something that's aspirational and beautiful. It's not about less, it's about abundance, it's about more.
And are these plastic-free materials as good as, and are they affordable?
Unit economics is the word I hear. That's a little phrase that industry uses with me all the time. Of course, it's got to be affordable. People are not going to pay more just because it's better for the planet. That's proven time and time again. So if we can really divert the money flow, if we can divert attention, industry attention and the money flow by bringing things like Plastic Free Land to life, then I think that we can dramatically accelerate the mass production of these materials, and therefore the price will come down, because it shouldn't be your problem as a shopper, my problem as a shopper. My message to everyone is, don't make it my problem. This is an industry problem. It's a design problem. Fix it there. Why is it still legal to even sell me the wrong thing? Now we know what plastic does to our environment and even to our own bodies.
I tell you what, I love a design problem, and I've been really enjoying looking at your stand here today. You have so many beautiful products. Can you give us a snapshot of your highlights and where they come from?
So what we're showing you today is how we're going to shop. What are we going to wear? How can we actually change the system, not just the material? Because obviously single-use culture, where we're using 1.7 planets worth of natural resource every single year, taking those materials from our kids' futures, making stuff with them and calling it GDP, the system also has to change. And the invention of plastic, certainly in the last 20, 30 years, has ramped up our single-use culture. So we think it's normal to buy something, use it once, and put it in a bin. So the systemic change is equally as important to us as the material change.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we have today are things like, some you will already know, the Earthshot Prize winner, Notpla, using seaweed, Sway, making bags out of seaweed. So there's a lot of using these materials from the sea that go back to nature as nutrients, which is through circularity. We've even got things like trainers. 22 billion pairs of trainers we make every single year.
Wow, 22 billion
Massively. I know, on a planet with 8 billion people, I know I am a large sinner on my plastic trainer collection myself. So how can we make a trainer that is not only plastic-free, but toxin-free? That when it biodegrades into the soil, leaves the soil healthier than it was before. So we have purified footwear. That's exactly what they've done. We've got Mover, plastic-free sportswear, proving that you don't need polyester. Really light, amazing temperature-regulating wool fleeces, things like that.
Fabulous.
We've got Endico, the new bottle company, who are trying to replace some of the 600 billion plastic bottles that we pump out every single year that goes halfway to the sun. How many times have we been to the sun and back and the sun and back with our plastic bottle addiction?
Tell me,
so this
Sian,
is molded fiber bottles instead.
If people want to find out more, because you've got so many amazing products here, where can they find out more?
Really, if they just go to plasticfree.com, because the good news is, after 2 years of building plasticfree.com, which is our solutions platform, it used to have a payment wall. This month, we have taken that payment wall down because we think we have to accelerate impact. We need to give information for free to everybody, everywhere, all of the time. And we also need to educate those AI bots so that our human verified level of what is plastic free, we can elevate them up to that level immediately. So go to plasticfree.com.
Plasticfree.com and check out all of the amazing work that you, your founders, your community, the movement are making for us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natasha. I'm from Stonehaven, a political and policy consultancy, and I came today to hear about what is at the cutting edge of innovation when we're thinking about the abundance of energy, what could be done with it, how it could unlock some of the most difficult problems we're facing today in terms of the grid, in terms of energy prices, what that could do for industry, transport, energy poverty, housing. The possibilities are endless, and it goes right to the heart of the challenges that we're thinking about at Stonehaven all of the time, such as the grid and constraints and how to deal with energy prices, but also innovation far into the future.
And were you inspired today? Did you feel hopeful, or did you feel like, oh, there's a lot more to do?
Both. No, but the inspiring bit was meeting so many minds and companies that are actively thinking about that decentralized energy piece and the Internet of Energy and how this relates to humanity itself even. It was a very interesting talk. But then as soon as you drill into the practicalities of it and the commercial case and planning and regulation, obviously that's where the devil is in the detail and there's so much more to do. But the optimism was refreshing.
Great. Well, we'll have to have you back and solve the problems.
Thank you.
So here at the Blue Earth Summit, we have just had a panel on the Internet of Energy and the Stellar Revolution. I am here accompanied by two of my panelists, Reg and Howard, and I'm just going to have a quick chat to them about some of the things they are doing in their day-to-day lives to make this a reality. So Reg, Hackney, What are we doing there?
My business, Emergent, we develop and operate microgrids for the housing sector. So we are focused on delivering solar PV across flats. It's a really underserved market. There's 5 million flats out there, traditionally not been able to access the benefits of solar. So we've unlocked that opportunity. In Hackney, we're delivering a megawatt capacity of installations across 28 buildings, giving the opportunity to 750 residents to benefit from substantial electricity bill savings by using solar electricity that's generated straight from their rooftop.
Are you finding the community's engaged? Are they excited about it?
We are having to explain what we're doing, and but some people are very motivated and coming forwards. Others, we work in the social housing sector, have a lot of mistrust of the energy sector, let's say. So we're working closely with our council partner in the area to make sure we reach out to everybody in that space, including the people who own those houses, but also the very the hard to reach, including some very vulnerable customers.
And at a bigger picture, Reg, I was talking on stage about how nature in itself kind of gives birth to new things in terms of small things that pop up in terms of new plants and things like that. Tell me, what is your view on how nature evolves?
On how nature evolves. So I think the first thing is to think, the energy system is a part of nature. It's not a separate thing. And that's the first thing. So we're in an evolutionary journey, moving from one system state to the next system state. Typically in nature, as we're seeing in energy, you see a lot of change come from the edge. And you see experiments, you see competition, you see all kinds of chaos, really. But what happens is you then get positive feedbacks. Change leads to more change, leads to understanding and learning and opportunity. And eventually you get to the point where you have a tipping point, and that's when it moves you into a new system. I think that's what's happening in terms of our transition to a more localized energy market.
So, Reg, what we're seeing with our community is that there's lots of people that want to be part of the energy transition and help it go faster. So a lot of the people listening and watching will be thinking, how can they get involved? What can they do? If you had a message for them, what would you suggest they look at doing?
Get in touch with your council and send them in our way, and we'd love to do a project with them. That's probably the most practical thing. We'll get solar PV delivered across your local community.
I love that. And Howard, tell me about you and some of the things that you are doing.
So my name's Howard. I am a founder of a company called POP. People-owned power, and we're focused on building the distributed energy system across people's homes. Basically, I think we should tip the energy system completely on its head and start with the need. So let's look at what you need on your home. How much of that can we generate? How much of that can we store? And work back from there, basically. So we're working with streets of people to do that.
Okay.
We're working across the Sussex and London into the southwest now, and we'll probably be in 20 communities over the next year.
And rolling out solar batteries
and heat pumps, basically.
Solar batteries and heat pumps.
So we think for 10k, if you're out of a 3-bed house, we can drop their imported energy and their bills to sort of 10 to 15 to 20% of what they were
so they get
in a week.
Up to 90% savings on their energy bills.
Exactly.
With some of the tech.
And for some of the communities we've done, we haven't fully electrified all those homes, but some of them have been fully electrified. But essentially they've become a net exporter of energy.
Fantastic.
Which is totally wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
People say this is really difficult. We think it's really easy. But what the missing piece is that people don't see themselves in the story. So our whole thing is like, let's put people in the story.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
let's make this something people get excited about. And so our whole approach is, if you want to do this in your street, great. We could come and do your house, but why don't you actually talk to your neighbours?
Yeah.
Because probably 5 or 6 of them will want to do it as well. And then it becomes really exciting.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's how we're doing it.
So in the community, we have, investors, founders, innovators, we've got policymakers, for example. If you had a message for them in terms of things that you need help with or things that they should get involved with, what would you recommend?
Well, we have a round open, so
Yeah.
very happy
You're
to
looking
have
for
investors come and help us at this point.
Ballpark angels or VC? What stage are you at? Where are
Sustainable
you?
Ventures and SFC Capital have been our sort of leads.
Great.
So we're open for about another 500,000 on this first round.
Yeah, fantastic.
But then anyone can get involved with this. I think at this point, it's super exciting to start building from the ground up. Basically, and I think that's the future of energy. And obviously, Reg is doing it in the social housing sector. What we find is that people are really engaged. Once they understand the change that's coming, they're like, "That's a no-brainer. Why can't we do that here?" And I'm like, "Well, you can."
Brilliant.
I guess
a great message.
The first bit is like how you engage people, how you deliver it. So we're training local tradespeople to deliver the projects.
Yeah.
The next bit then is how you digitally orchestrate them. And that's the bit we're working on. So if people have got great ideas or bits of tech to help us speed that along, we're really open to collaboration.
Brilliant. Well, reach out to Reg and Howard and let's collaborate. Let's get solar on everybody's roofs. Let's help loads of people transition and get you funded.
Thank you.
So hi, I'm in the actual auditorium. There's lots going on. You can see all the people. But I found a wonderful company here, and Toby's going to tell me all about it.
Hi, I'm Toby from Earth Cubs, and I'm very proud to be here at the Blue Earth Summit, surrounded by all of these incredible solutions. Earth Cubs is all about inspiring the next generation of global citizens, and we do so through edutainment. So videos, games, podcasts, bookazines, lots of really fun stuff that we get out into schools and homes all around the world. I'm really excited to be here today because I'm pitching. I'm part of the B100. Earth Cubs is part of the B100. I'm pitching at 11:30 on the forum stage. So that's really cool. There's actually a prize pot. So,
Fantastic.
So fingers crossed for that. But the other reason I'm excited to be here is this is a storytelling treasure trove for us. We get to go around the whole summit, meeting people doing incredible things and find ever more engaging ways to bring those to children. Really to try and get away from the doom and gloom. Let's get away from brain rot, doom and gloom, and let's give really positive storytelling to the world.
Fabulous. Listen, good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the summit.
I have bumped into the amazing Sophie Lambin. I am so delighted to introduce you to her. Sophie is the CEO of Kite Insights and also Herd, and basically organises some of the most phenomenal events at all of the climate events I've been to. Sophie, great to see you here.
Thank you.
Should we talk about Herd today?
I think so.
Can you give me the lowdown on what it is?
Yeah, so Herd is really trying to tap into the potential of people to contribute to the transformation of the organization. And, people at work deeply care about what they can do on climate and sustainability, but most often than not, they don't know where to start.
So is it an app, a website, or a community?
All of the above. Actually, it's a platform that manifests itself through an app on App Store, Android, also web-based. It's also a community of people that are meeting face-to-face, virtually face-to-face, and really share practice of what being a change agent in the organization actually mean, sharing the practice, sharing the struggles, and getting that sense of support. Because a lot of people feel alone. And as I said, they don't know where to start. There's so much untapped energy, ingenuity, potential.
Yeah.
And if you capture that energy in the context of work, I don't know about you, but in my private life, I feel what I'm doing is pretty helpless. If I can do it at work, it adds up to be more than the sum of its parts. So that's what we're trying to tap into.
I seem to remember you did some research a few years ago that really showed that people want to make change for the climate, for positive change for climate at work. And they're more motivated when they do that. They're more engaged with workplaces that are doing that. And so actually there's benefits both for employees and for the workplaces if people all can get involved in climate change action.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when you think about the net zero transformation, it's a transformation of the whole value chain. A chief sustainability officer, usually under resource, can't do it unless everyone in their function know what it means for them. So first, you need everyone on board to be able to transform, to innovate as well, because it's not just about reporting and the constraints attached to sustainability. It's a potential for innovation. And then people, as I said, they care deeply. It's important for their motivation, for their well-being. You have usually very engaged people that are motivated by that. So if you can retain those talents and give them a sense of purpose and meaning by, engaging on those issues, it's a potentially a win-win. The truth, though, is that with the backlash on ESG, generally speaking, it's become much harder. It's much harder for people to stand out for what they really want to do. People are more scared about being labeled as an activist, potentially putting their job at risk. So the environment is not particularly conducive, for one. So that's why Herd is there to give people a sense of agency, belief, access to tools and resource. But also...
and they're part of a community. They're part of a movement, and that there are people that still care and want to make a change. And it's a very... practical way of doing it, isn't it? So they can download the app. Can they review their company still?
That's right. And I was coming to that. You also give employers insights on what their employees truly feel. So you have a true measure of the sentiment of employees. It's all safe and anonymized for employees and for employers. However, we can give employers the data of how their employees feel, and employees feel that they ultimately will be heard, hence the name Herd.
So actually, from a perspective of, say, a chief sustainability officer, where they might be getting a pushback now saying no one cares, actually they could implement this, get the voice of their employee group and actually show, yeah, they do. There are people that care, and actually the team that work here really want to make change.
Yeah, I mean, it really has the potential to be a win-win for employers getting the insights they need to push the case. And every time they see the result, they said, wow, we knew people wanted to do something, but the level of ideas, concrete ideas that people have, expectation that they have, untapped energy that exists, really every time surprises the employers and validate the business case for it. And for employees is knowing that their voice is heard and it goes somewhere. And that's our commitment to employees, is that their voice will be heard. Obviously, we need volume. So we are recruiting people to download the app. I should say that it's all entirely open source and free for employees. Will always be. We have amazing micro lessons, sharing of stories of action. The tonality is positive. You got this. It's trying to not overwhelm people with a sense of, oh my God, this is too big for me to contribute to.
Yeah. Well, so absolutely. So EarthSet team, what we need you to do is get your phone out right now. Download the app, Herd. H-U-R-D?
H-U-R-D. It's not a spelling mistake.
Download the app. Give us some feedback. Also talk to your employer about it. They can download it too. Just try it out. Spread the word. Spread the word about Herd.
Thank you, Fiona. And maybe I would say that one employer, very big employer, is going to launch it to their employees for COP. We translate it in Portuguese, in Spanish.
Amazing.
And, the most progressive companies and employers out there are really wanting to engage their employees. So download Herd.
I know my team really loved it. So huge well done.
Well,
Keep it
thank
up.
you. Thank you for your support.
So hi, now we're outside at Blue Earth Summit. They've got a wonderful courtyard with speakers and there's food and there's all kinds of engagement going on and lots of chat. But I found Charles, who was at our panel earlier in the day. So I wanted a quick chat with Charles. Charles, tell everybody briefly again who you are and why you're here.
Sure, Amy. It's great to be here. Loving Blue Earth, as I did last year. So I'm Charles Perry. I'm an entrepreneur in the sustainability space, and I'm very excited about the discussion we had that Amy and Fiona just facilitated.
So this is our panel, as you know, on stellar nurseries and how we create them. Charles has been very involved in the stellar world right from the get-go. He knows more about it than most other people. So tell me, Charles, briefly, what was your thing you're most hopeful for and that you took away from our conversation?
Yeah, I think it's about this bottom-up movement, a social movement, to effectively produce a new paradigm. So moving us out of extraction into a stellar world, going from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And I think that's what really is exciting. If we can harness the energy of young people and giving them hope about this new paradigm.
And I think here is a great place to be doing this. I mean, this is a really, really energizing place because everybody here is up for it. They want to make some change. It's great.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, this Blue Earth, I call it almost a festival. They call it the summit, but I think it's a festival. It's of all the things that I've been to every, sort of all these conferences, this is the one that I think is most intergenerational and most rounded in terms of holistic gathering of people who care about all sorts of issues and want to make a world and make a difference.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Charles. Have a great day.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So this afternoon, we are having a huddle around nature, business, and the power to decide who is really in charge. We have an amazing group of people here. We have just relaxed, come into our bodies and really thought about being in nature. I'm here with Erica and Patrick. Tell me more about what we're doing.
Well, we are bringing and convening a whole bunch of people that have a different perspective on the future of business, but not just business, how it's financed, the capital flows, how businesses are owned, and then the ways of working within the business and also the ecosystems that they're in. And our kind of thesis is, well, if you looked to nature and looked how nobody is the boss of nature, we might have more of an idea of the future of business.
Patrick, you've just been taking us through some concepts around some of the trends that you're seeing at the minute and how we're moving from, kind of top-down institution-led organizations to much more regenerative, people-led organizations. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, I suppose, Fiona, it comes really from a few insights. One is that quantum physics will tell us that we're closer to, we're part of nature, so we're no different, and that we're all interconnected. So, and our traditional familiar models don't really make room for that. So our work is really about helping people to step back and notice how interconnected we are and how just insights from indigenous wisdoms, listening to our bodies more, our gut, our heart, our head, all working in harmony. And that really brings parallels into organizations where we can listen to the people, listen to stakeholders, and really embed listening into the structures and processes.
Are there any organizations that you work with already that are really living this and kind of embody it today?
Yeah, there's lots of beacons. And what I would say, whilst this might sound airy-fairy to some, the businesses that we're working with are profitable, really successful businesses. And I may be biased, but is their profitability down to the way they're owned, they're financed, and the way they work? So an example we gave earlier is started in Germany, but now in 50 countries, I believe, a really successful child snack company called Yoak. They have just transitioned to a model called steward owned, which has allowed the founder to exit in a healthy way he's happy with. So the baby he's grown for the last 10 years isn't being sold out in his viewpoint, but he also gets fairly compensated. This isn't a charity, a charity or for purpose or do good project for him. This is his retirement plan. This is his future. And this is a business he wants to leave, making the world a better place. So in that case, we've got investors that have invested and are getting a fair return, but the return is capped. We've got him exiting with not only a fair payment, including a risk payment for the risks he took, but also payment in a few years' time to links to his retirement. And then a workforce that is in the heart of making decisions about the business, but also making decisions beyond the business around their mission to change the food system that we've got. And growing 27%.
Wow, phenomenal growth. So what does it mean to be steward owned?
So I guess the starting point is the philosophy that says, actually, if you treat an organization with people and assets as not a machine to be controlled or something to be owned, a commodity, but actually a living ecosystem, then you then start to say, well, what if I treat it like my child or like my garden and nurture it and care it and listen to it rather than thinking to own or sell or exploit or extract from. So then therefore means rethinking financing. So financing there to take a fair return and play a role, but then move on. Owners and stop being owners for private gain, but owners for communities for shared gain. And so there are different models. For example, a charity can own the business or nobody owns it, but it's stewarded, or that you have a mission lock. So there's a number of mechanisms which are still actually emerging and new legal forms are being explored.
Yeah, and I suppose famous ones that we've probably all heard of, Patagonia. So I think the mission lock is really important. That's something that lots of founders are really attracted to. They don't want the mission. The reason they set that business up, maybe it was to provide healthy food for children. Maybe it was to provide fair compensation for freelancers in a advertising community, whatever it might be, that mission is locked so that the business can be successful, can thrive, can make financial return, but not at the expense of the original purpose, the original benefit to a group of people, society, and planet.
That's absolutely key, isn't it? What was the original benefit to people, planet, society, and everyone involved? I think it's so important. I can hear the group here are getting more active and noisy. So how can people find out more if they want to?
They can go to our website, yoak.uk.
You have your new website up and running?
New website up and running. So that's
how do you spell Yoak?
Y-O-A-K. It's an old English way of saying yoke, which is a thing for joining things together.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's also a combination of yew and oak. So classic
lovely
English trees, and we live in a forest. So
beautiful.
There's also there's a steward-ownership.com, which is full of information and stories. So a really good resource.
On that particular model, because that particular model doesn't fit every business model. And I'd say the other part of it is also critically working with the funders and the investors, which is something we do and other people are doing as well. So founders and investors is where we do all that.
I love this. We even have young people walking by, literally building the world of the future. So check you guys out, yoak.uk, and they, find out more on how to have regenerative businesses.
And funders.
So we're here today at the Blue Earth Summit in Woolwich, and I'm here with Michelle.
Hi, good to see you.
Tell us, Michelle, why are you here?
So I'm joining the Blue Earth Summit today to talk about my experience as an OCD sufferer. It's OCD Awareness Week this week. So I'm here to tell my story to hopefully help normalise the conversation about mental health and help signpost ways that people can get on the road to recovery.
So can you give us a lowdown? For anyone that's not come across OCD before, what is it? And how does it present itself?
Well, I think one of the kind of common misconceptions about OCD, it's that the need for neatness. It's, the terms of everybody's a bit OCD, and actually it's not really about that. OCD at its core is the doubt disorder. And it's one of the most underdiagnosed mental illnesses. And it's classed by the World Health Organization as actually one of the most debilitating illnesses that somebody can experience. So I think for me, it's really helping normalize the conversation by sharing my story so that either people who have OCD might go and seek help or might know how to signpost help for people that they love.
And if people are experiencing this and they've not heard the term or they've not had a diagnosis, what kind of things might they be experiencing?
So if you suffer from OCD, everybody gets thoughts that come into their head. And if you don't have OCD, that thought will pop into your head and then pop through. But with an OCD sufferer, those thoughts get stuck and you ruminate on them. And then that creates discomfort in the body, which you then carry out a compulsion to try and relieve that discomfort. And that keeps you stuck in this kind of constant cycle of doubt, which is partly what makes the condition so debilitating.
And if people are experiencing that, what would you recommend they do?
Well, the gold standard of treatment for OCD is something called exposure and response prevention therapy. But there are lots of different healing modalities that people can explore. And it's an ever emerging treatment landscape.
I love that you are doing this for other people. It must be such a, tough thing to do.
It's my first time sharing my story publicly, actually. So I'm a bit nervous about talking later. But I'm passionate about it.
Right, thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Thank you on behalf of everyone.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's great to meet you.
What a day. It's been such a fantastic event here in Woolwich, the Blue Earth Summit 2025. Thank you for being with us. What's been your highlight?
I think going around the stores and seeing all these amazing startups all doing really exciting things. They were so inspirational. I loved it.
Do you know, the energy here is so fantastic. It really is such a reassuring part of the kind of movement to know that people are doing such incredible innovation. If you have enjoyed the show, please do remember to subscribe. Thank you for being with us. See you next time.